everybody, to episode number 40. Number 40 of Can We Make Impact Wrestling the best promotion in Total Extreme Wrestling 2013. My name is the Mayor, Jason Smith, and welcome to week 4, February 2020 of Impact Wrestling as we continue to gain a little bit more ground on the WWE. In our pursuit in January, we took a little bit of a loss, I should say, about $623,000. Also in this episode, we will be talking about TNA Victory Road 2007 as we continue to outline every monthly pay-per-view that TNA did. We started in 2006 and we have moved forward into, we are up to 2007 now in July for that pay-per-view, and a very unique main event for Victory Road 2007. In-game, however, we got a lot going on. So Tyler Black, aka Seth Rollins, is set to start here in Impact Wrestling in 1 week from today. So he's not going to be on TV this week, but starting next week, Tyler Black will be in action. Also, we are working to try to steal Jon Moxley away from AEW. We're also working on a TV show or a TV network contract with TBS. We're hoping that we don't have to renew with Pop TV. But they've got 2 days to make a decision because I don't want to get to the point where we are off of TV and we have to scramble to sort of negotiate contracts on the fly. We've kind of hit our peak with Pop TV in the US. We're at a 3.2 rating every week, and that's pretty much kind of where we're going to be topping out, I think. I don't know if we can get any better than that on Pop, so we're going to try to go to a bigger network like a TBS to try to bump up those network ratings. We're also doing pretty well in Spike UK and on the Fight Network too. So we're going to move forward and we'll talk about the first dark match in Victory Road 2007, and that would be the debut, pay-per-view debut of Akira Kawabata, for those of you who follow All Japan Pro Wrestling, and Brute Issei as a tag team, taking on Serotonin, which is the Raven sort of flock deal there with Havoc, which is a repackaged Johnny Devine, and Martyr, which is a repackaged Matt Bentley, who is the cousin of Shawn Michaels. And Serotonin would pick up the victory in the dark match. First match on the card that was officially on the pay-per-view was an 18-minute match, Ultimate X Gauntlet match, to determine the number 1 contender for the X Division Championship. And that would be Christopher Daniels picking up the win. He would take down Jay Lethal, former X Division champion, Puma, who also is known as TJ Perkins and TJP, Homicide, Sanjay Dutt, Petey Williams, Shark Boy, my boy Shark Boy. I've worked with him a few times in different promotions, and he is a really cool cat. Elix Skipper, Kaz, and Senshi are your Ultimate X competitors. Christopher Daniels would pick up the win there. We have a decision awaiting our response. It's either a TV deal or it's Jon Moxley who has agreed to a deal. We'll check out some of the news that we have going on here. Maxwell Jacob Friedman heading to Lucha Underground after we fired him. Just wasn't putting on the shows that I really wanted him to put on. Jeet Rama is out of WWE. Evolve gets Brian Cage after we let him go. Martin Kirby looks like he's going to re-sign. So we've got some good stuff going on in the news. The decisions here, Jon Moxley is coming to Impact Wrestling. Jon Moxley has left AEW and will start with our promotion in 2 weeks. That's exciting news for us to get Jon Moxley and Tyler Black. Also cool. Very interesting stuff going on there. Alright, so next up on the show, Jesse McKay will start work tomorrow. Michael Elgin will start tomorrow as well. And we need to at least get negotiating with Fight Network and Spike TV with our TV shows here. And I don't know why I'm going this route, and we can do it here. TV, Impact Wrestling, Fight Network, and Spike UK. We are going to extend might be in some trouble without TV. I think we waited too long to pull the trigger on this. So, okay. Not to worry, though. We are still working on TBS and a pay-per-view contract with Sinclair. So we might be off of TV for a few months, but that might be helpful for us because we get an opportunity to kind of get our guys rested up. So we'll go ahead and move forward with our pay-per-view, or with our scheduling here, and we'll continue to talk about Victory Road 2007 tag team match. Basham and Damasia, the Basham brothers, Doug and Danny Basham, would lose yet again in a tag team match to the Voodoo Kin Mafia. This time, Roxy Laveau would be at ringside for the Voodoo Kin Mafia. Nicole Rashinsky is Roxy Laveau, the Voodoo Queen, Roxy, whatever you want to call her. Christy Hemme and Lance Hoyt also were ringside for the Basham brothers despite the loss. Next up was a singles match. James Storm would defeat Rhino. And then following that match was a tag team match featuring the debut of the Motor City Machine Guns. It's the first time Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin would be paired together, along with Kevin Nash, to take on Jerry Lynn and Bob Backlund, and of course, the Machine Guns would pick up the win. Alright, new emails. Michael Elgin, Billy Kay have left their respective promotions. TBS has shot us down. That's a problem. So I think we're going to have to go hat in hand back to Pop TV and pray that we're able to extend this show. Okay. So crap. I don't think this is going to work. So it's not going to let us expand it. It's not going to let us extend it. We're in trouble because now we don't have any TV going forward. We waited too long trying to get positioned with another network, and it backfired on us. So, yeah, that's not going to be good for us. So, our final episode, at least for the next 3 months, will be tomorrow night. Our final TV for Impact Wrestling. We will be strictly pay-per-view for the next 90 days until we can get back on TV and not screw around and dink around trying to negotiate with various networks. So let's move forward, and we'll continue talking about Victory Road 2007. The next match on the card, a mixed tag team match. Bobby Roode and Ms. Brooks, Tracy Brooks, would lose to Eric Young and Gail Kim. This would be sort of the start to Eric Young's push in TNA, followed by a singles match that went about 13 minutes or so. Christian Cage would beat Chris Harris in that one. And then you got to the top of the card. The first match on the card was a tag team match between Sting and Abyss, who would beat AJ Styles and Tyson Tomko. And then finally, a very unique pay-per-view for main event for Victory Road 2007. It was Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe against the Dudleys. And it had all 3 championship titles on the line. You had the TNA World Heavyweight title, the X Division, and the World Tag Team Championships all on the line. Kurt Angle was the champ. Samoa Joe was the X Division title holder, and the Dudleys were, of course, the tag team champs. Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe would pick up the victory, meaning Kurt would retain the World Championship, Joe retains the X Division title, and they both become one half of the tag team champions in that match. Very interesting, unique pay-per-view laid out there for Victory Road 2007. And this was Victory Road 3, but they go by years with Victory Road. The next pay-per-view that on the calendar for TNA was the August 07 pay-per-view Hard Justice. Featured 9 matches, and don't believe there were any notable debuts. I take that back. Black Rain debuts. Dustin Runnels. So we'll talk about that. And Test would also debut on pay-per-view at this coming pay-per-view. We'll talk about that in episode 41. We've got TV to get to. We've also got an unread email waiting, which is probably us getting shot down by uh, Sinclair for pay-per-view. So not much going on news-wise. Jesse McKay, Kenny Omega, and Michael Elgin are all joining the roster today, so great stuff there. We have another main eventer we can play with in Kenny Omega. Should be a main... Oh, he's a mid-carder. Okay, that's weird, but whatever. Alright, so we've got another mid-carder to play with, and we've also got Mike Elgin joining the roster. He'll be a mid-carder too. So some cool stuff happening here. And so now let's get to our TV. We'll go ahead and check our email here. That's Kenny Omega leaving AEW, joining Impact. And tonight marks our first opportunity to start setting up some a handful of matchups for our upcoming pay-per-view. And we know we have a new world champion in Kofi Kingston, and he's going to need an opponent going forward for that championship. We also have a new Impact Grand Champion in the form of TJ Perkins, as he won our tournament, if you recall. We have a new Impact, or the same Impact Knockouts champion, Kairi Hojo, Kairi Sane, whatever you want to call her. She has yet to be defeated. She hasn't lost since week 2, September 2019. She lost the match before the pay-per-view, then won the title at the pay-per-view, and then has not lost since. So she's been on quite the roll. We also have the Lucha Bros, who defended their title and will need a new opponent. And X Division champion Marty Scurll makes defense number 10 of his title, and he will need an opponent as well going forward. So let's start with the tag team division, because it's pretty wide open. We have 2, 4, 6 tag teams, and ideally I am going to look for, I think I'm going to go with a triple threat match here for the titles at the next pay-per-view. So we'll have 3 different tag team matchups in this one. So the Lucha Bros, of course, will be in their whatever you want to call it, in the matchup, the finals, I guess. So the first one up, we'll do the Coffee Brothers against the Gorillas of Destiny. Now let's put them up against OVE. And we'll run this one out a little bit. We'll pre-show this one. So one of these 2 teams is going to be part of a triple threat match at the pay-per-view. And I don't care which one it is, but it's definitely going to be a pre-show, because there's no reason to have those guys together on a card. Alright, and then the next one we'll do is a triple threat tag team match with the remaining teams that aren't our champions. So we'll do the Gorillas of Destiny, the Briscoes, and the Bucks. And we'll keep it open. We will work the crowd and get a decisive finish. What? Yes, it can. Oh yeah, it's a pre-show match. Duh. I knew that. I knew that. Alright, so there's basically 5 teams fighting for 2 spots. Now we need to find an opponent for Marty Scurll. And who shall that opponent be? X Division title. So let's start with Flip Gordon and Adam Cole, baby. Alright, so Flip versus Adam Cole. Winner gets a shot at Marty Scurll. And we'll also do Kenny Omega versus EC3. And the winner of that match will also take on Marty Scurll for the X Division Championship. And we'll go ahead and open decisive, and we'll have this one up near the front of the card to work the crowd a little bit. Alright, so that's our X Division. We've got our Tag Division. Now we need somebody for our Impact Grand Champion to square off against, and that would be TJP. So he beat Bobby Fish in the finals, so now he needs someone new to square off against, and I like the idea of Jay White getting an opportunity here. These two have met once before in singles competition, so I want to make sure that they get this going here. See if they can sort of repeat some of that magic. See if maybe we can get ourselves a pretty good matchup out of Jay White versus TJP. Alright, and so now we just have Kofi's World Championship and the Lucha Bros, or the women's title, Kairi Sane, to figure out. We have a lot of women's division competitors here. And I'm going to dip my toe in the water with Ricochet and see if he can hold up in a possible World Championship opportunity. We shall see. I don't know yet. Alright, and we have a ton of women. And to find out exactly how many, we have 2, so there's 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 17 total without Kairi Sane, 18 total with her. So that's going to be very interesting in how we set this up here and how I want to make this work. Going to set this sucker up sort of like a tournament. Basically, Kairi Sane is going to be involved in this tournament, but she's also going to be putting her title on the line every time she fights. So by the end of it, the winner will be the women's champion, and hopefully it's not Kairi Sane. I've been trying to get this title off of her forever and a day, so we'll see how that goes. So I'm basically going to have two sides of a bracket here, and there will be one person who gets a first round bye. Of course, that first, on one side of the bracket is going to be Kairi Sane. On the second side, I don't really know who I want to give it to because nobody's really stood out other than Kairi Sane. And I guess I would go Arisa Nakajima based on her momentum. Yeah, because she's got the most momentum out of anybody else, so it makes sense to give her that first round bye. So these next matchups, basically, I'm just going to kind of fill them in as we go, more or less. You know, you've got some C's in here, some C minuses, some D's, and, you know, one E minus. But Gail Kim has a C momentum, and so she's probably going to get one of the easier roads. And she'll probably get Hamada in the first round. I also like Kaylee Ray has some good momentum. Su Yung, she actually won our pay-per-view Battle Royal last time around, so it makes sense for her to get one of the easier roads to go by as well. So we'll give her one of those simple roads, I suppose you could call it. And we'll give her Io Shirai. And then we've got, so, how about Shayna Baszler? We'll put her on one. Rosemary is another. Who else can we work with? So we've got Nakajima, she's good. So Gail Kim and Hamada is set, so we'll go ahead and plug that in so we can start looking at who's booked and who's not here for our tournament, if you will. So Gail Kim and Hamada is set. Su Yung and Io Shirai is set. All out, decisive win. Push that back a little bit. Alright, so we've got, we can do 8 more matches in the pre and post shows, which I probably will do with the rest of these women's matches. We've got some main eventers we need to get on TV, or else they will start having my hide. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8 of them. And we've got about 20 minutes left, so we'll do a fatal 4-way, and then we'll do a tag match, and that should kind of sort that issue out for us. I'm not going to bother with the mid-carders here. We're going to put Marty in a tag match here. So we'll put Bobby Fish, Eli Drake, Jake Hager, and Johnny Impact in a fatal 4-way match. There we go. All out, decisive, and open. Actually, I want that one to go a little bit longer. There we go. Alright. So now we'll do our tag match to round out all of our big names here. And we will do Lucha Bros versus Marty Scurll and Sami Callihan. Very interesting tag pairing there. Dial the intensity up and have them go all out. Not a tainted finish, please, not a tainted finish. Decisive win. Thank you. And we'll keep it open. Okay. Alright. So now we got that one booked in there as well. And we'll plug that in there. Alright. So now we can go back to booking up these women's matches that we're going to plug into the pre-show and post-show. Alright. And who's left here? Nakajima's got that bye. Kairi's got the bye. Let's put Billie Kay in something here. Let's put her here. Billie Kay. Let's see. Kaylee Ray needs to go somewhere. We'll put her here. Kira Hogan needs to go somewhere. Ohada needs a home. There we go. Alright, and let's see. Miyagi. We'll put her up against Shayna Baszler. And Rosemary's already there. Shayna Baszler's already there. Talia Madison can go up against Ohada. I forgot about Britt Baker. Where's Britt gonna go? Britt can take on Billie Kay. And I forgot Evilise, who can go up against Kira Hogan. Alright, let's see. So Tessa Blanchard can have Rosemary, and Fujimoto can have Kaylee Ray. So kind of piecemealed together a little bit of a tournament there. Alright, so Nakajima's got a bye, Britt Baker, and where is she? And Billie Kay. This will be Billie Kay's debut in Impact Wrestling. Will be on the post show. Sorry about that, Billie. And then we've got Rosemary taking on Tessa Blanchard. I think we'll go ahead and post-show that one too. That'll be a good one. Alright, so we've got 10 minutes of post-show time. And I'm going to use it on Kira and Evilise. But I've also got some pre-show time left for Ohada. Where'd you go? There you are. Ohada and Talia Madison. And we will work the crowd, decisive win, match, pre-show, the pre-show stopper. Alright, then we've got Evilise and Kira Hogan, whom I know will be post-show. That one, I hope that one does well. I'd like to see it do well. Okay. Alright, next up in this long-ass women's tournament, Kaylee Ray and Fujimoto. next up is Miyagi and Shayna Baszler. Oh, and look at that. I'm going to have room for a couple more pre-show matches, too. Sweet. Okay. So we've got room for 2 more matches. We might as well put Kairi and Nakajima on, since they're going to be whatever. They're getting a first round bye, so we might as well let them fight for chuckles. Alright, 10 minutes left. I think we've got 4 male talents left. 5. Michael Elgin is also making his debut on the pre-show. Sorry, Mike. But he's got a hell of a crowd with him. Jay Lethal, Dalton Castle, Michael Elgin, Shawn Spears, and the aerial assassin, Will Ospreay. Alright, so a ton of dark matches to get through. Holy cow. Okay, here we go. We're going to run this card. So our first match, Masaki Ohata, Tali Madison, is terrible. So Talia actually will move on. She'll face Kairi Sane in the next round. God-awful match between the Coffey Brothers and OVE. God-awful match between Kaylee Ray and Fujimoto. I ought to fire everybody that loses in this round. Miyake and Baszler's not terrible. Baszler's going to get the win. So she'll face Kaylee Ray in the next round. Nakajima and Kairi Sane was actually pretty solid. Great match there in the pre-show as well between Dalton Castle, Jay Lethal, Mike Elgin, Shawn Spears, and Will Ospreay. Ospreay picked up the win. Gail Kim and Ayako Hamada, not a great showing there, but Gail got the win nonetheless. B- out of Kenny Omega and EC3, with Kenny Omega headed to the triple threat match for the X Division title. Io Shirai and Su Yung, great matchup there. Su Yung picks up the win. Great matchup between those three, the Guerrillas of Destiny, the Briscoes, and the Bucks. The Briscoes get the victory in that triple threat match, and they will be part of a triple threat match for the titles. B+ out of Jay White and TJP. That was quick to find our Grand Championship matchup for our next pay-per-view. Lucha Bros against Marty Scurll and Sami Callihan. Surprisingly really good. Got an A in that one. Adam Cole defeats Flip Gordon, and he will head to the triple threat match. Marty Scurll, Kenny Omega, and Adam Cole, baby, for the X Division Championship. Book it. Bobby Fish, Eli Drake, Jake Hager, Johnny Impact. A little fatal four-way action looked pretty good. Might actually add that to our card. And Kofi versus Ricochet looked good as well, and that will get added to the card. Kira Hogan and Ivelisse. In the post-show, Ivelisse gets the win. Not a great match, though. Britt Britt Baker and Billie Kay. Billie Kay gets the win. Also not a good match. And a D+ out of Rosemary and Tessa, with Rosemary getting the win. Alright. Well, there you have it. So we've got most of our championship matches set, except for, of course, our women's division matchup. We did have that fatal 4-way that looked pretty good. So we'll add that to our pay-per-view as well. Alright, so let's check our ratings, and you'll see Gail Kim, Billie Kay, and Rosemary in a triple threat match. Talia Madison versus Kairi Hojo for the women's title. Sue Young, Kaylee Ray, and Shayna Baszler in a triple threat match against and then Ivelisse and Arisa Nakajima head to head, and that'll determine our final 4 for the women's championship. Also, it looks like we're going to fire a handful of people based on just some really poor showings in some of those matchups. Excellent show, and Sinclair shot us down, and that's fine. And where the hell are my ratings? I'm a little disappointed that my ratings are gone. So our last show on Spike UK did a 1.41, 1.10 on Fight, and 3.25 on Pop TV. So not terrible. Little disappointed that we weren't able to negotiate new TV deals at time. So basically, we're just offering these up, more or less, because we have no TV coverage on any current networks. So we're in trouble with that. But nonetheless, we'll still have the ability to get these shows done. They're just basically house shows at this point. But we continue on nonetheless, and we will continue marching towards our next pay-per-view on the schedule, and that is the March pay-per-view, Impact Victory Road. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode. My name is the Mayor Jason Smith. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.